All right, like it's working. Looks like it's working. Okay. Mic check, mic check. That's what I forgot to do. I can do it right here. I can do it right here. This may be a little bit better. Oh, sure. I ain't changed my. I had to change my whiteboard. Ooh. All right, what we gonna do this time? All right, all right, all right. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Chicago Black Delegation Podcast, the Corner Show. I am a guy. I'm the host, High Thinking, and doing something that I was supposed to do last night. Gonna be doing further research into Donald Trump's cabinet picks, so you don't have to. Where's my mouse at? Turn this off. So yeah, apologies, of course, yet again for the late night stream, but like this is just the best time for me to do it. You know, with me having a full-time job and all that stuff, and me just want to get the content out there anyway. Just I don't know. I know this is always not the best time for. This ain't the best hours for live streaming. Most people will be asleep, no doubt about it. But it's like I said, with me doing a full-time job, being able to do something like this at all is going to require me to get a little bit of a nap in, and then so I can be like energized and stuff, so I can be cognitively sufficient enough to live stream, to talk, to all that stuff, to perform. So, but otherwise, yeah, we're just gonna be doing a little bit of cabinet research, and this might go into a couple of videos that I kind of had on the lineup. Might not though, because I need to be doing some editing, to be honest with you. Need a hire editor. That'd be the greatest thing for me to do. But doesn't matter. Like I said, I'm gonna be doing a lot of this stuff. Going down the line, like we had already did Scott Turner, the urban and housing secretary, urban development and housing secretary. Again, Scott Turner. This position was created in the late 60s, following the Civil Rights Act, and it was a position held in the government, or held in the White House in a sense. It oversees it's pretty self-explanatory. It just oversees urban development and housing situation across America. Vouchers for grants, or advocates for grants. They can assist with housing, providing some different levels of assistance for those in need, and among other things. The guy they got for it, I think, was a pretty decent pick. Scott Turner, the only black dude that he that he hired. He seems. I mean, it looks pretty good. just going off of the his accolades, the things he's involved himself, he's definitely involved himself with quite a bit of things. So I'll give him credit for that. Um, the education, I mean, he knows all he has is a degree in like speech or something like that. He went to school to like learn how to talk really well, which is interesting. Um, one of my one of my panel members during that live stream, like jokingly said, or maybe he was serious. I'm pretty sure he was serious now that I think about it. He had said that they got a guy that knows how to speak well for the simple reason that what he said. He said they got a guy that can speak well just to be able to soothe talk everybody. Basically a distraction. Let's just cut it to the chase. They got a guy that can speak well to talk, to fast talk his way out of like essentially not doing his job because due to the simple fact that this urban development and housing, assistance and stuff like that. These are programs that Donald Trump plans on cutting. So like, what better way than to put it on a black man that just talks really nice? You know what I'm saying? So. I don't know. It definitely sounds like another trick to distract people or waste people's time, and it's very unfortunate, bro. So I actually wouldn't be surprised with that at all. But anyway, so yeah, let me just kind of pull up some things here. Let me just pull. What is this stuff? Yeah, let me pull up his cabinet picks real quick so I know who next I should work on. Google Slides. Presentation slideshow maker. What I'm talking about? What's the problem here? Okay. Yeah, this is it. Strange. I'm most likely gonna make them all kind of like the same with the same template, just to keep it simple. So let's make a copy. Oh my god, I gotta remember how to do all this stuff all over again. Is this it? Yes, admin shape. Templates. I gotta like literally copy this, and I want to copy the whole slide, so I just don't have to do a lot of stuff all over again. Can I just highlight everything? No, wait. Rename, remove. If I don't figure it out in about like 2 minutes, in like 1 minute, I'm gonna just go to Google and ask them how do you copy slide. Oh wait, did I just? Okay, I think okay. What, bro? I hit the freaking. I literally remember why I did that too. Okay, so make a copy, entire presentation, and we're gonna name it. Well, we don't know what we're gonna name it yet, dude. We're gonna name this. We gotta figure out what this other cabinet members are first. Live streaming. We don't need this. Okay, Mark Rubio. I think Mark Rubio was a good This is Senate. Senate. That Senate's a whole nother. That's a whole nother ballpark. We might do the Senate if people like the um if people like the cabinet picks, then I'll go into the house. I'll go into the Senate and also the House. If people really like are into it, I mean, if you guys like it rather. Cash Patel. I need some. Wait, what? I thought that was Jeff Bezos. Jeff Bezos. Definitely no shortage of these guys. Set Senate conference. Um, did he already fire the urban and housing guy already? Like, how come? Oh, it was named. Yeah, chief of staff. Okay. Chief of staff. Okay, the deputies. Okay. Order CSR, like he actually made that a job. Oh man, I don't know how to do that. I'm about to do research on that on my own time. Okay. Net Secretary Advisor. What the hell is a Net Secretary Advisor? What is that? I'm gonna go ahead and start. I'm gonna go ahead and share my screen. I think everything's pretty much. Yeah, Nat Secretary Advisor. Like, what is a Nat Secretary Advisor? Jake Sullivan. That's his name. Well, okay, maybe the current National Security Advisor. National Security Advisor. Okay, that's what this is. All right. Assistant to the President for National Security Affairs, commonly referred to as the National Security Advisor, is a senior aide in the executive office of the president, based on the West Wing of the White House. The National Security Advisor serves as the principal advisor to the President of the United States on the national security issues. The National Security Advisor participates in meetings of the National Security Council and usually chairs meetings of the Principals Committee of the NSC with the Secretary of State and the Secretary of Defense. Those meetings not attended by the President, and the NSA also sits on the Homeland Security Council. The National Security Advisor is supported by the NSC staff who produce classified research and briefings for the National Security Advisor to review and present either to the NSC or the President. The National Security Advisor is appointed by the President and does not require confirmation by the United States Senate. An appointment of a 3 or 4 star general to a role requires Senate confirmation to maintain the rank in the new position. Okay. Okay, yeah, that's what I want to see. The role. The influence and role of the National Security Advisor varies from administration to administration and depends not only on the qualities of the person appointed to the position, but also on the style and management philosophy of the incumbent president. Ideally, the National Security Advisor serves as an honest broker of policy options for the president in the field of national security, rather than as an advocate for his or own policy agenda. Okay, a broker. Okay, let me just sit something real quick. Mm-mm-mm. Interesting. All right, so hmm. All right, so what we gonna do next time? There's a lot of these guys, but this was necessary. This is what's necessary. Let me see. CEA, not yes. Yeah, what happened to? Oh, there he is. Scott Turner, right there. Okay, so we can just kind of start from the top. Then, state confirmation required. Okay, so yeah, see, we got Scott Turner right here. So he's announced, but Senate gotta give him their stamp of approval. But Susie Wiles, she's already locked in. JD Vance obviously already locked in. Um, so I mean, we can we let's stick with the folks that that's not required. So so I guess we can do. I wonder if we can just do all of the all of the deputies to the chief of staff. And like one video, that might take too long. I mean, that might take too long for one video. Border CSR, like, do I really need to look this up? Last time I checked, that's not even a real position. Like, did they really make that a? Did they really make the border CSR like a real thing? No, they didn't want to do that. All right, let me sure. Border CSR. I'm so understand. I'm so confused. Like, how come there's just whatever? This is so weird. Like, usually there's a more. It seemed like it's like, you know what I mean? Like, this is strange. Usually, when you want to know like the definition of a word, let me see. Maybe I gotta do it better. Like, actually do it. Yeah. See, they like there's no Like usually when you type in like definition, for something like something already kind of pops up. But first of all, this is like horrible looking. What's wrong with me? Hold on, bro. How do you make the dark mode? Come on, man. Preferences, more settings. Uh, I want to do all this stuff now. Can't show y'all there. Okay, there we go. There we go. Oh man, that's so much better. Woo, bro. Why they, bro? So it don't work for freaking. Oh, they capping, bro. I can't change the Google to dark mode. All right, forget it. All right. Anyway, yeah, border CSR. So yeah, that's what I was saying. Like when you type in definition, when you want to know the definition of something on Google, it usually like something pops up that is like from a I don't know like a established source like a Webster's or any other like definition site you can get a definition from. But now I have to go to CBS News to find out what a CSR is. Whatever. So let's check this off real quick. This is gonna be just weird. So you won't be the first. Okay, so there is actually a history behind CSR. Okay, so let's try this out. Let's try this out. Hmm. What? I didn't type C. What does this mean? This is strange, Bruce. CSR. This is weird. So is it just not? I guess CSR is not a. It's not an American word. Okay. A person appointed by government. Okay. Okay, here we go. A person appointed by government to advise on and coordinate policy in a particular area. Huh? A person appointed by government to advise on and coordinate policy in a particular area. Coordinate policy. I mean, is that not? So why call it a CSR? Why do they need to use the word CSR? Okay. Well, that's okay. So this clears that this clears up that earlier question. Okay. I mean, I guess whatever. Like, I guess I'll just roll with it. It sounds kind of stupid, but like, so he just this is somebody that regulates regulates the border, our immigration borders. All right. So possibly the leader of ICE. Let me just get a formal explanation of what ICE is. Just immigrate U.S. Immigration of Customs Enforcement. Yeah, careers. Wiki tells us everything. I probably should probably should start doing it because they are pretty damn helpful. Not gonna lie. U.S. Immigration and Enforcement, aka ICE, is a federal law enforcement agency under the United States Department of Homeland Security. ICE stated mission is to protect the United States from cross-border crime and undocumented immigration that threaten national security and public safety. The ICE mission is executed through the enforcement of more than 400 federal statutes and focuses on customs violations, immigration enforcement, and preventing terrorism and combating illegal movement of people and goods. ICE has two primary and distinct law enforcement components: Homeland Security investigations, HSI, and enforcement and removal operations. In addition to three supporting divisions: management and program administration, office and principal legal advisor, OPLA, and office and of president of professional responsibility. Enforcement and removal operations (ERO), which primarily deals with the deportation and removal of undocumented immigrants, is among the most public and contentious function of ICE. ERO maintains, enforcement and removal operations maintains the custodial facilities used to detain people that are illegally present in the United States. In interior offices, ERO enforcement and removal operations officers primarily conduct targeted enforcement operations to apprehend aliens engaged in serious criminal activity. For example, in fiscal year of 2020, 90% of those aliens apprehended by enforcement of removal operations had criminal convictions or pending charges at the time of their administrative arrest. This fiscal year 2020 arrest statistic includes 1,800 homicide related offenses, 1,600 kidnappings, 3,800 robberies, 37,000 assaults, and 10,000 sex crimes. That's insane. 10,000 sex crimes just for that small amount of people. At border offices, environmental I'm tripping. Enforcement removal officers, uh, enforcement removal operations officers. I need to get it together. Receive and detain undocumented immigrants apprehended by the United States Border Patrol. Undocumented immigrants apprehended at the border have significantly lower levels of criminal activity than those arrested by. Uh, I'm not gonna remember this like the first day. By enforcement and removal operations in the interior of the United States. Hold on, enforcement and removal operations. Enforcement and removal. Okay, enforcement and removal operations. Okay, I think I get it down now. ICE maintains domestic offices throughout the United States and detachments at major U.S. diplomatic missions overseas. ICE personnel, special agents, special agents, and officers do not patrol American borders. Rather, the role is performed by the Border Patrol. Um, enforcement. I'm gonna get it. I swear I'm gonna get it. Enforcement and removal operations and HSI operate as two independent law enforcement agencies and have completely separate missions. HSI is focused on the disruption and transnational crime, where the enforcement enforcement and removal operations Enforcement and removal operations is responsible for the apprehension, detention, and removal of undocumented immigrants. The acting director is Patrick Leschnitner. The agency has not had a Senate confirmed director since Sarah Saladana stepped down in January 2017. So where the enforcement and removal operations is responsible. Okay, where the yeah HSI is focused on the disruption of transnational crime. Okay, where the ERO, the enforcement and removal operations, is responsible for the apprehension, detention, and removal of undocumented immigrants. Oh, Jesus. Oh, I need to stop stretching my legs as much. I'm out to. I think I know how I can do about this. All right, there we go. Give me a second. I just messed my camera up right there. Tweaking. Okay. Fuck it, skip it. All right. All right. Back to the chat shit. So yeah. To look. Okay. So to understand a little bit more about ICE, the immigrations and customs enforcement. Um, Apparently, is a larger organization where there's a task force called the Enforcement and Removal Operations, which is specifically deals with the deportation and removal of undocumented immigrants. So it's not. I mean, people, the whole organization gets all of the flack. ICE gets the flack, but it's specifically the ERO, Enforcement and Removal Operations, is what's responsible or is doing the dirty work of ICE. So I think it's pretty interesting. Yeah, it's pretty interesting to understand here that there's more to ice than meets the eye apparently. Um, all right. Um, so what's next? Okay, so yeah, we know I do want to start this last show up. Um, okay, okay. I got to figure out who I want to start working on. Marco Rubio, right? Ain't that what I said? No, this is do JD Vance. This is JD Vance. Thing is, JD Vance really did a pretty good job during that debate, though. So I don't think he's. I mean, unless, like I said, unless Republicans are just all about the delivery, not necessarily about the execution and like the things that actually kind of matter. Like I don't like the idea of I do not like the idea of just hiring somebody. Yeah, I don't like the idea of just hiring somebody that um Joe Blunt there. I like the idea of hiring somebody that just speaks well, that's like looks good on the surface, but doesn't necessarily has what I mean, the stuffing. You know what I mean, the actual education to back um, what they not just not even just what they say, but um, but yeah, just you need to have the education. You need like something that proves that you have. I mean, that you have a as much of a holistic understanding of what's expected of you in these jobs as good as much as possible. Like I'm just saying, like you can't just like I don't know. Some people just expect that okay, you just put somebody in the hot seat, and over time they'll eventually like learn and accommodate to like the needs of the job and stuff like that. I mean, some like that, right? But again, like one quote that really resonated with me for a long time was you don't know what you don't know. You know what I mean? And if you're gonna put somebody in a position of power, and there's a lot of things that they just don't know, that an educated person that actually went and got a formal education of yeah, there's that person with the formal education simply just was exposed to so many more things, so many more nuances and stuff like that than the person that they just threw in there. Because the person that they just threw in there, right, is only going to be influenced by their experience at that job. Whether that's going to be word of mouth or things that happen like directly and stuff like that. But they don't know they don't know what idea they don't know how an idea they may have has affected the government or the machinations of that field or that corporation. um, how they don't know how good it or bad of an idea it is, because they don't know how a similar idea has affected that position in the past. Like that's kind of like how do I put this? It's like it's important to get a good education on these like different type of jobs, because again, you want to You want to know like some of the history behind some of the good decisions, some of the bad decisions that was made in that corporation. If you're gonna resort to use, if you're gonna, if you have to make it, if you want, how do I put this? If you have to make a decision that is historically been bad for that corporation or whatever you're representing, you're gonna have to be able to completely articulate why it'd be a good decision in this particular time, and that's gonna require again a strong nuance of like the again the machinations of that position and job, and the market. You know what I mean? So it's like so that's why it's just very important that the president appoints cabinet members that know what they're doing, that they have a good education, they have a formal education on. I mean, so I don't know. So that's kind of where I'm at with this. So let's go ahead and start working on this slide here. I definitely don't want to be up all night. I want to be done by like 3 o'clock. I mean, not 3 o'clock, probably maybe about 4 o'clock. Vice President JD Vance. Oh, shit. Oops. How do I look? I don't look stupid out here. Hold on. I saw it. Okay. All right. So we let me say copy, share it with the same people, remove speaker notes. Okay. Hmm. Oops. Let me see. How can I make this better? I don't want to do that. Vice President. That works. Mission statements. Role of chief of staff. Uh, Notable qualities of a good housing. Okay. All right. So we're gonna mission statement role of. We'll just kind of go down the line here, make it kind of we kind of keep going down the slides and make changes to all the slides all at once. Sometimes it makes me feel like I'm doing it faster. So I just like completely like get like confuse myself. Um, let's see how that plays out. Actually, let's actually put some respect on my man JD Vance. Let's put some respect on his name. Why? Like that's so strange. Is his name JD? Like why? Like how come everybody else has their full name up, but his like he's like JD? Like what is that? It's just so bizarre. James David Vance. Yeah, like what are you talking about? Why is he? Why? That's so weird. His name is James David Vance. Does he like he like does he have to have his name show as JD Vance? Like is it like that? Is he making this? Oh shit. Let me do that. How do I do this? Yeah. James David Vance. I wonder if David is his middle name. Is David is well we'll find out. James David Vance, born James Donald Bowman. What? What are you talking about? Vance was named James Donald Bowman at birth. Afterward, he was adopted by his mother's third husband and had his name changed to James David Hamill. Okay, in April 2013, he adopted his maternal grandparents' surname Vance. What? So what? That's so bizarre. One. Okay. What is his name? Republican Vice President Turner J says many of them. Yeah, like why you got so many names, my guy? The senator, I just want to know about this. Give me a second. The senator of Ohio introduced himself in the world in 2013 when he published his best-selling memoir, Hillbilly LG, under the name J.D. Vance, like a J. D. Okay, he wrote short for James David in the book. He explained that this was not the first iteration of his name, nor will it be his last, nor will it be the last. Huh? So he plans on changing his name again? Huh? Why would you do that? In the book, let me read that again. In the book, he explained that this was not the first iteration of his name. Yeah, all right. So over the course of his 39 years, this guy's bizarre. Vance's first, middle, and last names have been altered in one way or another. Like this is so weird. Like I've changed my Xbox name a couple times, and but best believe I'm gonna hold on to it for a while. But no, I'll change my Xbox name or maybe like my Google name or whatever like that. I don't know my phone number, but I'm not gonna change my full name. Like why would you? What? What's the secret tech here? Um. Over the course of 39 years, Vance's first, middle, and last names have all been altered in one way or another. As Vance is being introduced to voters across the country as Donald Trump's new running mate, his name has been the source of both curiosity and questions, including why he no longer uses periods in JD. Uh, this dude is freaking weird, bro. He was born James David Bowman in Middleton, Ohio, on August 2nd, 1984. His middle and last names the same as his biological father, Donald Bowman. His parents split up around the time I started walking. He writes, when he was about six, his mother Beverly married for the third time. He was adopted by his new stepfather, Robert Hamill, and his mother renamed him James David Hamill. When his mother erased Donald Bowman from his and her lives, the adoption process also erased the name James Donald Bowman from the public record. Okay, so she did this. The only birth certificate for Vance on file at Ohio Vital Statistics Office reads James David Hamill, according to information provided by the states. Okay. Beverly kept the boy's initials the same since he went universally by J.D. Vance. What? Since he went universally by J.D. Okay. Vance explains in the book he didn't buy his mother's story that he was named for his uncle David, though any old D name would have done as long as it wasn't Donald. He wrote. Um, Vance spent more than 2 decades as James David J.D. Hamill. Is this name by which he graduated from Middletown High School, served in Iraq as a U.S. Marine, officially Corporal James D. Hamill, earned a political science degree at the Ohio State University, and blogged his ruminations as a 26-year-old student at Yale Law School. Those facts are borne out in documentation provided by those entities upon request or otherwise publicly available, and were confirmed by campaign spokesman Taylor Van Kirk. Do I need to read the rest of this? There's a lot of stuff. Mm-mm. But the situation noted, and particularly after the mother and adoptive father divorced, I shared a name with no one I really cared about, which bothered me already. And with Bob gone, huh? I mean, I think most people share whatever, bro. That's really weird. I shared a name with no one I really cared about. I mean, I think we all kind of share a name with somebody that we don't care about or we don't know, but whatever, bro. And with Bob going to explaining why my name was J.D. Hamill would require a few additional awkward moments. Okay, he writes in Hillbilly Elegy, "Yeah, my legal father's last name is Hamill. You haven't met him because I don't see him. No, I don't know why I don't see him. Of all the things that I hated about my childhood, nothing compared to the revolving door of of father figures. So he decided to change his name again to Vance, the last name of his beloved Mama, the grandmother who raised him. It didn't happen on his wedding day in 2014, as the book implies, but April 2013, as he was about to graduate from Yale. Van Kirk said it felt right to take the name of the women who raised him before dying in 2005, as he was putting the struggles of his early life behind him and launching into a new phase. Throughout his tumultuous childhood, uh, Bonnie Bladen Vance raised JD and was always his North Star, Van Kirk said in its statement. It only felt right to him to take Vance as his last name, claiming the Vance is a name. Claiming that the Vance name also served to tie JD more clearly to what he writes was hillbilly royalty on his grandmother's side. Not long before he would release a book, opening, huh? Before the release, before he would release a book opening on hillbilly culture. Look like that's a typo. A distant cousin to his papa, also named James Vance, married into the McCoy hating Hartfield Hartfield family and committed a murder that kicked off one of the most famous family feuds in American history. J.D. Vance wrote in his book. Vance achieved a clean state of sorts with his new name, just he was entering his career as a lawyer author. Besides being the name of his on his book, it's the name he used to register for the bar, to marry, to enter the world of venture capital in the Silicon Valley, and as he became a father. Okay. But there's more. There's one more name alteration to come. Okay. When J.D. Vance jumped into politics in July 2021, he had removed the periods from J.D. which often used as his shorthand JD over his lifetime. What? Did I read that incorrectly? He had removed the periods from JD. He'd often use this shorthand JD over his lifetime. Okay, it's just okay. Okay, that's a complete. Okay, I got. Sometimes okay, maybe I see why he's. That's funny. I think I see why he chose to get rid of those periods because if you're gonna end that sentence with JD and that period is there, I'm gonna think that what's gonna follow after that JD is gonna be a continuation of that sentence. But I guess that's why we have capitalizations. Okay. All right, if that's the reason why he did, I'll Loki will respect that. I'll Loki will respect that. But no, but again, I can't give it to him because like, that's why we capitalized the first letter of the following sentence. Asked by the Associated Press at the time if this was a formal change or merely stylistic, his campaign said it was not. It was how Vance preferred to be referred to in print. He has maintained the usage as a U.S. Senator referring to him as J.D. Vance in his Senate website and press releases and in certain campaign and business filings. The nominee's legal name today is James David Vance. The AP, whose industry standard AP style book advises to generally call people by the name of they prefer, honors his request to go by JD with no periods. Yeah, it seemed like the dude just wants his name to be JD, which is that this is so funny that I have to. This is very strange. So I'm gonna hold on to this. I'm gonna hold on to this right here. I need that app. Fucking one of my friends told me about like a plug-in that lets you like highlight certain things. I kind of want that. But yeah, this is actually pretty unique, and because like the first thing I'm thinking is why does everybody else have like their full names like up here, and then we got this guy JD Vance just like going by his initials and then Vance. I'm like, wait, well, what's the JD mean? And it seems like I mean, yeah, it means like James David Vance, but like it seems like he doesn't want to go back to James and David anymore. It's just he has like some kind of a problem with sharing names with people that he doesn't know or whatever doesn't mean anything to him. He that since that bothers him, he apparently he wants to remove himself from those names. So now he wants to just go back like two letters. This guy's like kind of weird, bro. I'm not gonna lie to you. This is like whatever. I mean, it's let's just say it's I'm not I'm not used to something like this. Like the first, it's funny because the first thing I think of in here in JD Vance is John Witherspoon's son. He goes by JD Vance. I mean Vance. He goes by JD Witherspoon, but he uses the periods. He uses because he's just there. He understand like there's he wants to respect that. He wants people to understand that the JD means something else. Like there's something else going on, but JD maybe just rolls off the tongue better. I don't know. Maybe I don't know what is this fascination with like JD, but I don't know. People seem to like it a lot. I don't know. So anyway, but yeah, he doesn't like having sharing names with people he doesn't like care for. So like low key believing that he literally wants to be called JD. Like he wants that to be his name. And then Vance is just like the person, his grandmother. So he has a high regard for her. So I can see him holding on to this Vance name, because that name actually means something to him. But like the JD is just like, I mean, it seemed like he wants to create his own identity. I mean, that's like the best I got. Anywho, so yeah, Miss. So let's find out what a vice president is. Like, what's the role of a vice president? Well, I still got to read more about JD Vance. Now that I think about it. mess up? Okay, let's hold on to that. Let's hold on to that for whatever reason. I need to hold on to this as well. So well, I don't need this. All right. Okay. So we're in an early career, tenure, high renewal. U.S. Senate. He's a senator. Okay. Committee assignments. Presidential election. Comments and childlessness. He does advocate. Haitian immigrants. Debates. Opinion polls. Political positions. Personal life. Electoral history. Works. Notes. References. What's works? Okay. Like books and stuff like that. Um, Republican. He ran Republican all like his entire political career. Wait, these are the results. I'm tripping. I'm not reading too much. I'm not reading enough. Okay, political positions is actually pretty important. This is actually pretty important. So we know more about. So one of the most important things, the most important from the perspective of society, especially in relation to or more so relegated to um, the nation, right? Because like everything that I would say your voting rights as a person. That's what how do I put this in words? Okay. So as far as a nation, right? From the perspective of a nation, right? Speaking on from that perspective, the most important thing about a person is their political position, their political affiliations, what they will vote on, because what they will vote on can actually will actually influence your lifestyle, right? So what people's political positions are, like what they will vote on, like that's um I think that's the best way of saying that because I yeah. I think how do I put this in words? So with understanding that um I think a lot of people don't really think about stuff like that. I mean, I'm clearly starting because I never had to outwardly say this out loud before, but like Joseph said though, like people underestimate how important somebody else's political views is. Um, one of my most I would say unique takes as far as like dating and stuff like that. You gotta know the person's political positions, and you gotta actually like take that into like strong consideration. I would say like later on in life maybe it doesn't matter as much because like maybe you ain't the neither y'all ain't really got a lot of time left or like so and y'all just the dating pool is just not the dating pool is just not really in your favor at that after a certain age. Like for obviously for both men and women. Um, so maybe you can like loosen up as far as the political position and stuff like that, and just not talk about it. Maybe just for y'all to live like the rest of y'all elderly years together and stuff. But for like young people, 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, no, it's definitely important to understand where both y'all stand as far as politics, and I would go as far as to say you should be distancing yourself from somebody um, that doesn't see politics the same way you do. Like really, I'm not gonna lie, I'm really just speaking on behalf of people that are collective minded, solution minded, that wants the betterment for society as a whole. And I don't really see that being Republican. I really feel like Republicans are very individualistic, and they only primarily want to look out for um, the top 1 to 10%. So yeah, very individualistic people, not complete opposite from like say political minds such as the Green Party, such as those like pretty much anybody that is left of the Democrats. You know what I'm saying? It's for politically minded, like on the political spectrum. So so yeah, if like I couldn't like seriously a black person, man, woman doesn't really matter. Being with a woman that is voting for Trump or voting for Republicans and stuff like that, you gotta like listen. They can be talked out of it. All they need is like a little bit of a little bit of educating and stuff like that to be like notified of how bad these people have been for society, how bad they've been for the collective, but especially the black collective. I mean the attitude that they hold regarding um like black advancement and black history, you know what I'm saying, is completely to the contrary of what needs to be kept and what needs to be preserved to benefit black Americans. Especially since especially since this country never did anything specific for us as a people. But whatever, that's here neither it's neither here nor there. But I did want to throw it out there. Yeah, you just can't you really can't you really need to, especially black people. Black people definitely need to be very selective about the political affiliation of the people that they're with. Especially like for you guys that want to like date outside the race and stuff like that. Like you must find out what that person's political affiliation is and will they vote on your behalf and your family's behalf. If like you guys want to be with these all these girls of all these different races, all these like it's not just white girls and stuff like that, but um, like she has to be like her political affiliations has to be in alignment with you and your family's political alignments. So not just I'm sorry, not even political alignments, but it has to be in alignment with their needs, your family's needs. So that's what black men especially need to be considering when it comes to like their mate selection and stuff like that. That need to be a part of their vetting process. You feel me? So all right. So anyway, I don't even know how they even started that rant. um, let me just yeah. So I've been chopping this popcorn. I know it's looking, but yeah. This is my homeboy Chuck from the podcast. This is his golden nugget popcorn. I mean, you see I keep going, bro. You see I keep chopping some of this stuff down. Like yeah, this really is that good. This like the cheesy barbecue flavor. This ain't look. This not even about no type of affiliations, none of that stuff. Like this stuff's really damn that good. You know what I'm saying? I can't even put it down. So give me a second. Oh, all right, we back. Not a paid advertisement, by the way. He didn't pay me to share that. Okay, so and the only reason I'm not using my hand, the only reason I'm throwing it back like that, because I don't want to use my hands to like mess up my mouse. But it's like this stuff's extra cheesy. Okay, so all right. So what was I? Oh yeah, so it's okay. I remember now. So yeah, political positions is like some of the most important thing. It's like some of the most important information you get. You can extrapolate from every of any individual. So I might start with this, um, and then kind of go down the line as far as like other stuff that needs to be understood about vice presidents as a whole. But I'm actually pretty interested about this. Okay. During his time in the U.S. Senate, J.D. Vance has been described as a national conservative, right wing populist, and an ideological successor to paleo conservatives such as Pat Buchanan. Vance describes himself as and has been described by others as a member of the post liberal right. He is known for his ties to Silicon Valley. Vance has said he is plugged into the he's well hold on what Vance has said he is plugged into a lot of weird right wing subcultures online. He has endorsed books by Heritage Foundation leader Kevin Roberts and far right conspiracy theorist Jack Postal Big. Jeez, I don't these names, bro. I'm too American. That's my problem. I'm too American to read these names. National conservative. So let's find out what a national conservative is. Who is it like? Okay. Current national conservatives parties or parties with national conservative factors. Defunct or formerly national conservative parties. National conservative groups. Okay. Social, economic, and foreign policy. That's very okay. That's interesting. Whew, let's just read the. Let's just go with the ideology for right now, and then I might just check this out and like in detail and completion at another time. I'm really digging into like the culture of like Republicans. It's so bizarre. Um, which is good for me because I spend like a lot of time, mostly speaking with like leftists and stuff like that, and understanding like their perspective on things, and just trying to find out why they're so affiliated with LGBT rights, Palestinian like sentiments, and the deconstruction of gender as of binary gender as a whole. Definitely learned a lot. I definitely what's the word? I definitely implement not implement adopted a lot of the rhetoric. Um, but it's good to just know where they're coming from as far as their ideologies and stuff like that. Just to know how just to better um just to better navigate through conversations with them and stuff like that. Anyway, so national conservatism is a nationalist variant of conservatism that concentrates on upholding national cultural identity, hmm, communitarianism, and the role of religion. Let me see if I can say that right. We'll get. Well, it's not that important. And the public role of religion. See religion and politics. It shares aspects of traditionalist conservatism and social conservatism while departing from economic liberalism, which is a good thing. You don't liberalism, bro. I see liberalism sounded good once upon a time. Just a complete erasure of like government influence on the market and just a complete eradication of the government like receiving taxes from Americans to pay for different types of government funded programs and stuff like that. And it's like it sounded good on paper. It's like okay, yeah, less taxes, and everybody just solve their own problems and stuff like that. And I don't know. I think people, especially those that have been disenfranchised throughout history, just will have a whole like a severe um, disadvantage. It's gonna be a they're gonna be severely disadvantaged in terms of under a under a liberal system, or just being without those government funded programs and stuff like that. Like they're gonna be severely disadvantaged in comparison to those that had um, a massive networking and a massive capital. So it's just another. I mean, it's just another way for the top to. It's just another way for the rich to remain rich and the poor to remain poor, which is ass, which is trash. Short, long story short. Anyway, while departing from economic liberalism and libertarianism, as well as taking a more pragmatic approach to regulatory economics and protectionism, um, national conservatives usually combine conservatism with nationalist stances, emphasizing cultural conservatism, family values, and opposition to illegal immigration or opposition to immigration per se. Okay, national conservative parties often have roots in environment with rural traditionalists or peripheral by basis, contrasting with the more urban support base of liberal conservative parties. In Europe, national conservatives usually embrace some form of Euro scepticism. What's this? Euroscepticism, also spelled as Euroscepticism or EU scepticism, is a political position involving criticism of the European Union and European integration and ranges from those who oppose some EU or European institutions and policies that and seek reform to those who oppose European members. Okay, yeah, so yeah, skepticism. Yeah, it's not that wasn't all that complicated. In post-communist Central and Eastern Europe, specifically, most conservative parties since 1989 have followed a national conservative ideology. Most notable is Viktor Orban in Hungary, who was explicitly described as Fidesz, oh boy, ideology as being national conservative in character, and whose government is involved in the funding and spread of national conservatives institutions across Europe and the United States, such as Dunabe Institute and Matthias Corvinus um, Collegium, the European Conservative Magazine, and the National Conservatism Conference in the United States. Trumpism, bro. Hold on. Is this what I think it is? Trumpism is the political movement in the United States that compromises the the ideologies associated with Donald Trump and his political base. Got you. And can be considered all a variety of national conservatism, which also gives its name to the National Conservatism Conference organized by the Edmund Burke Foundation. National conservatism was recently relaunched by Israeli American political philosopher, biblical scholar Yoram Hazani, uh, and with his 2022 book Conservatism: A Rediscovery. Hazani has written that in the political arena, conservatism refers to a standpoint that regards the recovery, restoration, elaboration, and repair of national religious traditions as the key to maintaining a nation and strengthening it through time. Okay, okay, so national conservatism. So yeah, ideology. So yeah, we want everyone to look into his ideology, and like I said, I don't want to go too far into everything because it's not necessarily. I'm not gonna necessarily put all this in JD Vance is because like I said, the whole purpose of the pod of these following things is just gonna be to see if the guy's like good enough for the job or not. Ideologically, national conservatism is not a uniform philosophy, but adheres have broadly expressed support for nationalism, patriotism, assimilation, and monoculturalism. Oh boy. At the same time, there is expressed opposition to internationalism, racial politics, multiculturalism, and globalism. National conservatives adhere to a form of cultural nationalism that emphasizes the preservation of national identity as well as cultural identity. As a result, many favor assimilation into the dominant culture, restrictions on immigration, and strict law and order policies. Yeah, sounds about right. Hmm. Okay, so let me see something real quick. Um, All right, so ideology. National conservatism focuses on threats to moral order and the loss of moral bearing due to liberalism's relativism. It opposes modernity, liberalism, and socialism, instead of valuing Europe's Christian heritage and defending Western civilization. National conservatism is silent and on classical conservative thought expressed by Michael Alcott and Edmund Burke. In The Virtue of Nationalism, Yoram Hosni criticizes John Jacques Rousseau and John Locke for creating a dream world where the Jewish and Christian would have to have no place to exist. National conservatism rejects his standard historiography over the Enlightenment, modernization, and emancipation, and key political events such as 1789, 1986, 1968, and 1989. National, I wonder what they're referring to as far as the key political events in these here years. National conservatism distances itself from fascism, viewing it along with liberalism and socialism as aspect of modernity and thus disconnect human designs from normative order, instead calling for the restoration and order of social, moral, and political structures. Patrick Deneen argues that the current elite should be replaced with a better aristocracy brought about by a muscular populism to advance the common good, with the common good loosely defined as integration, which includes the reuniting of church and state. Okay. Interesting. Okay. So yeah, hmm. So uniting the church and state. So some key things that I'm kind of pulling from here is some key things I'm kind of pulling from here is, well, yeah, obviously this reuniting church and state thing, but what was that word at? Mono something. Geez, I literally just saw it. That's why we have to do this. Okay, yeah. Well, I could have sworn. Oh, hey, I'm tweaking. I read this before I read this, didn't I? Yeah, I did read this before I read this. My bad. Anyway, but yeah, yeah, monoculturalism, which is like again, I mean, it's right here though. Policy or process of supporting, advocating, and allowing for the expression of the culture of a single social or ethnic group. It generally stems from beliefs within the dominant group that their cultural practices are superior to those of minority groups, and it's often related to, well, yeah, I mean, it's kind of self-explanatory from that point on. But yeah, pretty much if you want to live in America, you have to integrate and conform to the American culture. You know what I'm saying? So I mean, obviously, I would say that I would remind people that you can be multicultural. You know, you can adopt the principles and like the codes and ethics of multiple cultures. And we do that all the time anyway in our daily and literally our daily lives. Like you can be, especially as a black person, you can adhere to the statutes and living standards and cultural aspects and all of these things, a way to describe black culture or being a black person in America. You can ascribe to those things, but you also ascribe to the culture of the job you work, or at least you can. We see this happening in the police department all the time. We see this happening in like politics, like you name it. People that work together, that share the same experiences. It's like a bit of a subculture can be created through that, especially with it being like a larger, with it being a larger corporation. That said, America wants, or at least these people, but yeah, at least these people want everybody to completely conform to the dominant society that is the American culture. So I would just, in my opinion, I would implore for everybody to be very well, let's say, cultured right on America and how America does things, but also hold on to your own culture, hold on to your own identity. I think I mean, I'm pretty sure this is a long way of saying something that we all kind of understand already, but I'm just saying, don't like because like this multiculturalism. I mean, monoculturalism. This ideology is very much so on the rise. Like now, it's really just I would say it's just another way of like advocating for like um say a do I dare say do I dare call this like a racist type of ideology like but it's based a lot of people just call like a lot of people just refer to this as like white supremacy, just succumbing, conforming to like white supremacy. You know what I'm saying? But if I were to give it a little more, just a tad bit more grace, they don't man like these people on paper, at least on in front of a camera, right? They won't they won't let's say push against the idea of I'm sorry, they won't advocate for a one ethnic nation, a one race nation, but rather they're saying that hey, if you're gonna live here, you're gonna have to adopt the culture of you're gonna have to adopt this American culture, which is I don't know, but I mean because but like the fact of the matter is like America is just such a melting pot that there is just no there's there's hardly one way of describing American culture. Like it's just American culture is just it's again it's a huge melting pot of like so many different cultures. But whatever. So yeah, just like look out for these type of people that want you know what I mean. So just and I don't know if not that just make a decision on if you want if this is if this is what you ascribe to. Like I said, I personally just like the idea of being aware of like where you live, being aware of the people of the the political and social um, opinions of those around you or those that especially those that run the country, but also yeah those in your community and stuff like that. So, but also again hold on to your own identity. So okay, So yeah, national conservatism. Yeah, it got a pretty solid understanding of this stuff. So then you got like social policies, economic policies, which, like I said, when you see the word monoculturalism, you're gonna just you can, for the most part, understand that economic policies, social policies, and what was it, and foreign policy is all gonna be centered around um, appeasing to the needs to the this whatever culture that this community, this large, you know, country or nation chooses to adopt, chooses to uphold or rather. Again, some people call it white supremacy. Others will call it just American culture. So whatever you want to choose. Anyway, so let's go back to JD Vance. So we know where JD Vance stands as far as um he as a, well, then again, this is other people's description, other people's interpretation of him. Right wing populism, also called national populism, and right populism, is a political ideology that combines right wing policies with populist rhetoric and themes. Its rhetoric employs elitist sentiments, opposition to the establishment, and speaking to or for the common people. Oh, really? Right wing populist? Huh? Hmm. Never heard this before. Let me just take a small trip over here. I'm not gonna be nearly as long as I was on national conservatism. Right wing national populism. Right, it's a political ideology that combines right wing politics with populist rhetoric and themes. Its rhetoric employs anti-elitist sentiments, opposition to the establishment, and speaking to or for the common people. Recurring themes of right-wing populists includes neo-nationalism, social conservatism, economic nationalism, and fiscal conservatism. Frequently, they aim to defend a national culture, identity, and economy against perceived attacks by outsiders. Right-wing populism has associations with authoritarianism, while some far right populists draw comparisons to fascism. Interesting. It seems like on like the first thing I'm thinking is this is just this is like the face of Republicans. You know what I mean? They want to appeal to as many people as possible in speech, right? But it's like essentially like you're leading. I don't know what to say. I don't know really how it's really kind of described. It's a method of leading the sheep to the slaughter. Um, to say things that will make people feel like they're being represented and they will be advocated for in policy, and then but ultimately lead them to a land of fascism is just kind of OD. Um, mm, I would argue that the people that we see or that describe themselves as a right wing populists, we need to like there needs to be like a deep study on these people specifically. There need to be a deep study on those specific individuals and see like because like what we're gonna see is what they're gonna present on front of a camera is gonna be how do I put this? What they present in front of a camera is gonna be something that's gonna again advocate or influence or imply that they are fighting for the better interests of the collective, but whole time they again it's a sheep to the slaughter situation and in policy and decision making, like what are they doing to actually advocate to actually help those people that they in front of the camera say that they will advocate for in policy development. It's pretty shady. But yeah, let's see. Let's read a little bit more of this. Recurring themes, right wing, recurring themes of right wing populists include neo. As we got through this, hold on. Include neo nationalism, yeah, social conservatism, economic nationalism, and fiscal conservatism. Frequently, they aim to defend a national culture, identity, and economy against perceived attacks by outsiders. Right wing populism has associations with authoritarianism, while some far right populists draw comparisons to fact. Yeah, I just read that. My bad. Right wing populism in the Western world is generally associated with ideologies such as anti-environmentalism, anti-globalism, and nativism, and protectionism. In Europe, the terms is often used to describe groups, politicians, and political parties generally known for their opposition to immigration, especially from the Muslim world. And for Euroscepticism, right wing populists may support expanding the welfare state, but only for those they deem it fit to receive it. This concept has been referred to as welfare chauvinism since the Great Recession. European right wing populist movements such as the Brothers of Italy and the League in Italy and National Rally, formerly the National Front in France, the Party for Freedom and the Forum for Democracy in the Netherlands, National Alliance in Latvia, the Conservative People Party of Estonia, Defense Party, and the Sweden Democrats. Okay, this is a lot of examples. Um, okay, began to they all of these people began to grow in popularity in large part due to increasing opposition to immigration from the Middle East and Africa, rising Euroscepticism, and discontent with the economic policies of the European Union. And from the 1990s, right-wing populist parties became established in the legislatures of various democracies. Right-wing populism has remained the dominant political force in the Republican Party and the United States since the 2010s, although extreme right-wing movements in the United States, where they are normally referred to as the radical right, are usually characterized as separate entities. Some writers consider them to be part of the broader right-wing populist phenomenon. American businessman and media personality Donald Trump won 2016 and 2024 United States presidential elections after running on platforms founded on right wing populist themes. Yeah. So yeah, so that's just kind of that thing, man. These people, yeah. So it's like I said, it's conservatism as a whole is just relegated to like making bringing resources to or keeping resources in America. Like they want us to. That's what they want us to like. That's how they advertise themselves as. You know what I mean? And it's just that it is an extreme way of the methods of which they um, achieve that goal is just can likely mean a lot of anti I don't know populist ideals. Like I don't know what else really said, how it's really said. Um, which means that it's going to be very much so catered to the like large corporations that keep that they would argue that keep the nation, that keep the nation going. Like at least that's what they would argue. Um, but it's like I said, it's very pro-bodied. Like unfortunately, has a history of being white-centered. Um, so on and so forth. But like, and there's reasons for all of those things. So it's this is a very interesting concept under the or conservatives and embedded into the Republican Party. Mm. So it's really interesting though, because I think it's definitely good for people to have a pretty um somewhat service level understanding of all these different ideologies under the right wing, because for the most part, people just think it's things is divided between the left and right wing, like you're either a Democrat or you're a Republican, and and like people haven't even so. I mean, they'll see like Jill Stein on the ballot, or I don't know, one of those other like weird political parties. Um, but or I mean, other members that represent those weird political parties, but they don't know what any of this stuff is. They just know, okay, do I vote for a Democrat or do I vote for a Republican this year? And I would say, like, for those that are vigilant minded in their voting process, yeah, they do want to have a good, like, again, at least a service level understanding of these different type of classifications under these these myriad different political parties. And what it really does is like this. Here's like the let's say the principle of like politics, right? Like the baseline foundational understanding of like what of politics, what people kind of need, just kind of this is what people need to kind of understand about I would say about politics. These are one of the things. And this is a lot to do with like what I said earlier about like understanding how you value different things, right? Like this is in relation to like um into like relationships when I first introduced this. But it's a very, very, very simple concept. Whatever is something, how do I put this? Let's just speak to it and from the perspective of politics. Name a policy, name an ideology, name goals, so on and so forth. Like all of them you can think of on a piece of paper, right? We talking about abortion rights. We're talking about trans rights, LGBT rights, black rights, preservation of white culture, preservation of um, Native American culture, thoughts about anti-Semitism, like you name it. This like it goes down, it goes on and on and on and on and on, right? And then attribute a value to that, right? Let's say to make it simple, go from like 0 to 10. Like next to this policy, there might be a list somewhere. I wonder if there's a list somewhere. But yeah, it might be a test now that I think about it. That's actually pretty. Somebody should make that test. If nobody made a test like a political test or like that, they kind of that you would they would ask you like a whole bunch of questions, and it'll pretty much tell you where you fall on the political spectrum. That would actually be a really dope test. Not gonna lie. Anyway, but all I'm saying is that yeah, just all you get a whole list of um government, a popular, not I don't want to say popular and more so unpopular political positions and opinions and stuff like that. Give it a value from 0 to 10, and your answers, like what you kind of come up with on how you value these different policies, or how favorable you are to these different type of political policies, will will essentially land you in a categorization. You know what I'm saying? Obviously, everybody is um, quite unique in their political positions, and not everybody completely fits the bill of the standard Democrat. Nobody completely fits the bill of a standard Republican. That's why you have to go into like into the nitty gritty and understand what you value and how much do you value it, and then there likely is a place for you as far as a classification of what political ideology you subscribe to. And there's a lot of these weird terms. Like I said, you got neoconservatism. I mean, all of them I just kind of named. This is I'm scrolling too far now. Where was it? Where were we at? Political positions. Yeah, like national conservative, right wing populist, paleo conservative. Like there's a lot of these really weird, um, political positions. You know what I mean? That you may not have, you may not have never heard of. You know, like I like that. Hold on, like a political philosophy that and a paternalistic strain of conservatism in the United States, stressing American nationalism, Christian ethics, regionalism, traditionalist conservatism, and non-interventionalism, paleo-conservatives. Yeah, so like I said, you might if you are a Republican that is like a nationalist that thinks that the rations or resources need to be for the that needs to stay in within America and America alone, and we shouldn't be intervening in foreign policy whatsoever. That'll make you like a nationalist. You know what I'm saying? However, you might be at the type of Republican that wants to appease to the needs of the Jewish community. You know what I'm saying? So there's a political affiliation for that as well. And it's just like again, it's highly dependent on how you value like anything there is that's political that can be perceived as political. And like I mean, I don't know what to say, but if it can be influenced by a vote, then yes, that makes it political. So I think people need to like take these things into consideration and try actually really find out where they stand, where they sit politically. So otherwise, yeah, we kind of get back to researching our guy Vance here for a moment here. Patty Bush and Vance describes themselves. But yeah, Vance describes himself like I said. I mean, and this is the thing though, like. Oh boy, you gotta be careful about what people say. It's more so about the policies they act. So like if people think he's a national conservative, but he himself would describe himself. Um, Wait, what? Vance describes himself and has been described by others as a member of the post-liberal right. Okay, he is known for his ties to Silicon Valley. Vance is said to be plugged into a lot of weird right-wing subcultures online. That's what I'm saying. Like, what's these weird right-wing subcultures? You know what I mean? What we talking about? I guarantee you they're very centered toward the status quo, very centered towards the dominant money making. Well, just I wouldn't maybe not necessarily like the dominant um money makers in America. It's like this. I mean, you see he's tied to the Silicon Valley. Um, you see he's tied to Heritage Foundation. So whatever, like you can kind of make inferences based on the things that he outwardly attach himself to kind of know to kind of help with guessing what some of these subcultures may be. Right wing is a big indicator of what you kind of expect, but you're not gonna get any type of like pro LGBT rights rhetoric in these type of subcultures. At least I don't think so. At least, but not to say there aren't any gay or otherwise LGBT affiliated conservatives or Republicans or anything like that. Those people definitely do exist, but um, so yeah, it can good luck. I mean, but they might be they might go into maybe one day I might go into like these what he means by these because it's right here clearly. We might go into that one day, but not today though. But yeah, he's endorsed book by Kevin Roberts. Okay, on social issues, Vance is considered conservative. He opposes abortion, same-sex marriage, and gun control. He has taken a number of natalist positions. He has repeatedly expressed his belief in the childlessness is linked to sociopathy. Sociopathy? What does this mean? Is a personality construct categorized by impaired empathy and remorse. Okay, in combination with traits of boldness, disabilities, disinhibition, and egocentrism. Uh, Egocentrism. These traits are often masked by superficial charm and immunity to stress. Okay, so yeah, I mean, it sound like something close to. It sound like um like what do you call that? I'm definitely not gonna be able to the scientific term for it. But yeah, there and they calls it like main character syndrome. So we'll just go with that. Um, the advocated that parents have more voting power than non-parents. Advocated that parents have more voting power than non-parents. Interesting. But in August 2024, he backtracked from that suggestion. Vance has lamented that increasing divorces adversely affect children and divorced parents. He has proposed federal criminalization of gender affirming care for minors. He supports Israel and the Israel Hamas war. He opposes continued American military aid to Ukraine during the ongoing Russian invasion and prefers a negotiated peace. Vance has argued that the country's largest and most powerful institutions have united against the right and has called for the de-wokification program. He is critical of universities, which he has called the enemy. Vance is also critical of both the United States Department of Justice and the Federal Bureau of Investigation. In 2016, Vance was an outspoken critic of then Republican presidential nominee Donald Trump, calling him re- reprehensible and America's Hitler, and himself a never Trump guy. And that 2021 2016, like that started all the way back then. I thought this never Trump concept came about in 2020 for the came in time for the 2024 election. No. No, I thought no. I'm sorry. I thought it would develop during Trump's tenure as president. In 21, after Vance announced his Senate candidacy, he publicly announced support for Trump, apologizing for his past criticisms of Trump and deleting some of them. That year, Vance advised Trump to fire every civil servant to replace them with our people. Vance has said that unlike Trump's Vice President Mike Pence, if he had been vice president during the 2020 presidential election, he would not have certified the election results. Uh, Instead, insisting that some states that Trump lost should send pro-Trump electors so that Congress could decide the election. Okay. Send pro-Trump electors. The Trump fake electors plot was a scheme to submit illegitimate certifications of ascertainment to falsely claim U.S. President Donald Trump had won the Electoral College vote in certain states following Trump's loss in 2020 United States presidential election after results in the 2020 election. Oh, okay. He's talking about that thing. Yeah, that scheme they was talking about. That's how I think it was rigged, I guess. Whatever. Um, Not really gonna get to his personal life. I just want to know if he's fit for the job. Okay, so I mean, he's just like this. What about education? He went to Yale, studied. Who? Okay, his wife. Um, 2023 Vance met Usha. Let me see, who is this? No picture. Oh well. While both were students at Yale Law School in 2014, Vance and Usha married in Kentucky in an interfaith marriage ceremony. As she is Hindu and he is Christian. Their wedding include a Bible reading by Vance's best friend Jamil, and the bride and groom were blessed by a Hindu pandit. Usha clerked for a year for Brett Kavanaugh, who was then an appeals court judge in Washington, then clerked for Chief Justice John. I just want to know if the girl like. I just want to know if the girl's like white, because Usha, They said I don't know. I don't know what kind. I mean, she's Hindu. I mean, Hindu can be anything. So let me see. Like this is that'd be kind of strange for like a for them to endorse somebody that's not a without a white wife. It's funny because like a black person, a black person is only gonna make it so far in politics if he has a white wife. It seems like, but we'll see. Yeah, she's Hindu. She's Indian. What is this? What's going on here? Okay. He has an Indian wife. That's different. Not gonna lie, that's different. That's different. I want to see something real quick. Mm, Here he is. White. A person having origins in any of the original places. I'm sorry. A person having origins in any of the original peoples of Europe, the Middle East, or North Africa. So Middle Easterns are considered white. Black. A person having origins in any of the black racial groups of Africa. American Indian, or Alaska Native, a person having origins in any of the original peoples of North and South America, including Central America, and who maintains tribal affiliation. Oh, and who maintains tribal affiliations or community attachment. Okay, so you have to subscribe to the Native American, culture. Asian, a person having origins in any of the following. I'm sorry, a person having origins in any of the original peoples of the Far East, Southeast Asia, or the Indian subcontinent, including, for example, Cambodia, China. Wait, what? Or the Indian subcontinent, including. Okay, okay. Strange. Cambodia, China, India. Okay, so Indians are okay. So that'll make her Asian. Okay, let me read. Let me see more about that lady then. Japan, Korea, Malaysia, Pakistan, the Philippine Islands, Thailand, and Vietnam. Native Hawaiian and other Pacific Islander. Yeah, that's kind of. The Census Bureau has a long history of conducting research to improve questions and data on race and ethnicity. Since the 70s, the Census Bureau has conducted constant tests to research and improve the design and function of different questions, including questions on race and ethnicity. Okay. Okay. So I have a question though, because here it says the Middle East. I could have sworn the Middle East was. I must be stupid. I must be dumb or something because I thought Middle East. I thought India was in the Middle East. I hate to go. I hate to go outside of like the U.S. Census Bureau as far as this question because because like different like there's gonna be different type of understandings of. I don't want to just run into any information that's gonna because I want to know what the government thinks about this stuff, right? I want to know what the Census Bureau. Again, I want to know what the government thinks about race and Middle Easterners being considered white. because I thought Middle East was like literally like Asian. Let me look this up for real. Let's. Um, okay, I did this already. All right, we can just do this anyway. Um, this gonna be a really dumb looking question, but bear with me. So okay, so this is the Middle East. Again, going off of Wikipedia, but okay. These people are considered white by the eye in the eyes of the U.S. Census, via the census or the government, right? Arabian Peninsula. Okay. Oh, that would be our okay. Levant, Turkey, Egypt. So Egyptians are white apparently. Iranians are white and Iraqis are white. Hmm. Even though these people are pretty melanated, they have very deeply tanned skin, very completely different like facial features uh, across the board that don't look anything like a European, but now they're classified as white. I want to say it's just because of their. I want to say it's because of the money the established power they have. It's very. This is a very. This is a very confused. This is an interesting one. This is going to be something I'm gonna have to start studying up on. Why are these groups considered to be white in America? Like, why is that a thing? You know what? Let's try. Let's see if this question was ever discovered by anybody else. Like who. Let's see if somebody on the internet actually answered this question. I don't even know who this is. Setonian. I know business. I know I heard these people before. The most notable changes include in 1915, 1944, and 1977. Uh, in Doe versus United States of 1915, the United States Court of Appeals ruled that Syrians were included in the term white persons. This ruling only applied to Arabs from the Levantine until 1944, when the federal government deemed all Arabs, including those from North Africa, as white. By 1977, the Office Management and Budgets Directive number 15 defined a white person as a person having origins, yeah, Europe, North Africa, or the Middle East. While these advances were beneficial for Arabs when they first arrived in the United States, times have changed. It's an issue that the U.S. Census does not have category for people of MENA descendant, as now we have become an invisible minority hidden in decades of inadequate Arab representation in the media and health demographics, and brought about uncertainty when it comes to identifying diverse groups of people. As a result, President Biden's administration once again revisiting this topic as groups speak out to support of a MENA category. Okay. So they are considered racially they're white, but obviously, ethnically it's just that's just another conversation. Or let's say nationally. Anyway, so let me see. So going back to his wife though, early life and education. She was born in California. Tank Tulungu speak Indian immigrants. Indian immigrants. Wait, what? No, what? Yeah, Indian. What? American? No, she's not American Indian. She's from India. They messed this up. Um, yeah, so she's Indian. So let's go back. Let's go back to the. So India, yeah. So she's Asian. She is Asian. Okay. So yeah, like if anybody didn't notice already, this is a really important thing to understand about race. Um, because like I said, everybody can have their own opinions about what race means, but how do I put this? You're gonna have to you know what, you can have your own opinions about race. I'm not even gonna take that from anybody, right? I'm not gonna take away the subjectivity of or I'm not gonna disrespect subjectivity because that's like the overall truth that we all have to contest with. However, you also are gonna have to deal with the fact that the people that run this country have also an understanding of race, and you are it's in your best interest to at least to adopt that to some capacity, or to at least understand it, so that when you read it from from a government source, which is actually what matters, you how I would say that you will be able to interpret it in a cohesive like you will be able to interpret it in a cohesive manner. You know what I mean? You'll be able to read it the way it's supposed to be interpreted, right? Anyway, so let's read this real quick. The data on race was derived were derived from answers to the question on race that was asked of individuals in the United States. The Census Bureau conflicts racial data in accordance with guidelines provided by the U.S. Office of Management and Budget (OMB), and these data are based on self-identification. Okay. Based on self-identification, the racial categories included in the census questionnaire generally reflect a social definition of race recognized in this country, and not an attempt to define race biologically, hmm, anthropologically, or genetically. In addition, it is recognized that the categories of the race item include racial and national origin or socio-cultural groups. People may choose to report more than one race to indicate their racial mixture, such as American Indian and white. People who identify their origin as Hispanic, Latino, or Spanish may be of any race. OMB requires five minimum categories: white, black, American Indian, American in American. Oh, I'm sorry. Geez, a black or African American, American Indian or Alaska Native, Asian and Native Hawaiian or other Pacific Islander. So yeah, reasons for collecting information on race. Information on race is acquired for many federal programs, such as a critical in making policy decisions, particularly for civil rights. States use these data to meet legislative redistricting policies. Race data also are used to promote equal employment opportunities and assess racial disparities in health and environmental risk. Very important stuff. Um, Very important stuff, actually. So yeah, like it's like I said, it's in everybody's best interest to have a clear understanding of what the government deems as race and what qualifies as race, um, and all those things. Yeah, going back to this stuff, I just found that pretty interesting that the Republican Party allowed the Indian into their ranks. But I mean, at the same time, like I ain't gonna say that yet. I want to before I put some on the air, I want to research it for myself. Let me see something real quick. Okay. All right. So let's actually start working on this PowerPoint, please. All right. Role of the vice president. Okay. Mm-mm-mm-mm. Hmm. The vice president or vice president is an officer in the government or a business who is below the president or the chief executive officer in rank. It can also refer to executive vice presidents, signifying that the vice president is on the executive branch of the government, university, or company. The name comes from the Latin term vice, meaning in place of, and typically serves as tempore, Latin for the time being, to the president. In some countries, the vice president is called the deputy president. Okay. In everyday speech, the abbreviation VP is used. In the government, the vice president is a person whose primary responsibility is to act in place of the president on the event of the president's death, resignation, or incapacity. Vice presidents are either elected jointly with the president as their running mate, or more rarely appointed independently after the president's election. Most governments with presidents have one person role at any time, although in some countries there are two or more vice presidents, an extreme case being Iran's 12 vice presidents. How does that work? You have 12 vice presidents. And the president, if the president is not present, dies, resigns, or is otherwise unable to fulfill their duties, the vice president will generally serve as president. In many presidential systems, vice presidents may not wield much day-to-day political power, but are still considered an important member of the cabinet, while other vice presidents might not have any purpose beyond acting in place of the president on the event of the president's death, resignation, or incapacity. A few vice presidents in the Americas also hold a position of president of the Senate. This is the case, for example, in Argentina, the United States, and Uruguay. The vice president sometimes assumes some of the ceremonial duties of the president, such as attending diplomatic functions and events that the actual president may be too busy to attend. The vice president of the United States, for example, funerals or world leaders often attends funerals of world leaders on behalf of the president. The vice president, in some cases, may also be appointed by the president as the head of missionary ministry in the cabinet, or to lead certain executive initiatives designed by the president. In parliamentary or semi-presidential systems, the vice president may coexist with a prime minister, as is the case in India, Namibia, but the presence of both offices concurrently is rare. Um, let's see here. Okay, so basically, I mean, yeah, like they just for the most part, I mean, it's pretty funny because it's pretty funny that because like I can just imagine like a situation where there's a ceremony that's like this big event that you're just looking forward to, like seeing the president, or the president promised to be there, and OMG, like the president of the United States said they're gonna be here, and we can get autographs and take pictures, and he's such a great person, blah 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 blah. Just for the day to come, and then the vice president shows up, and you're like, wait a minute, bro, like you're the America's president said he was gonna be here. Where is he? Oh, he was busy, so you got me instead, the vice president, and nobody. I'm just saying, like the vice president don't. The vice president showing up for anything just don't. It don't hit as hard as the actual president showing up. It's just kind of that's that's just how it is. Like the vibe is not the same, my guy. I don't think there's ever been a case where the vice president was more likable than the president himself. Like that wouldn't even make any sense. Like that people voted for the president. They didn't, and the vice president like just didn't. What is just simply just not as popular as the president. That's just how it. Anyway, just how it is. Um, In business, we don't need to really do this in business now, should we? We're not for the purpose of this what's your name? Let me just kind of speed read this for a second. In non-fictional business, financial business, vice president. Okay. I don't know. It really does sound like very similar to like a regular. What? In business, a vice president refers to a hierarchical position that ranges from extremely senior positions. Okay, it's kind of different. Anyway, um, hierarchy of presidents, depending on the specific organization, the following may be an example of the hierarchy of the vice presidents. The following list and explains where the VP stands. Sits in an organization. Your president, joint president, deputy president, first executive vice president, senior executive vice president. Hierarchy. Okay. Okay. Assistant manager. Wait, an assistant manager can be considered a vice president. Certain. I guess it's like depending on like. Then again, it can be anything. But I want to say depending on like the strength of the size of the corporation kind of dictates the what kind of vice president will be implemented in that business. Like if you have a, like I don't know a mom and pop shop and where the whole business is literally that building. Yeah, it's safe to say that the assistant manager. Oh, excuse me. You're like the mom. Yeah, like mom might be the president of like that little mom and pop shop, and then dad might be like the manager, or the assistant manager. And then I guess he would be considered the vice president because he's just the second highest rank in that department. And then like I don't know, maybe the kids be like the stock people or whatever like that. So I guess I can understand. Um, so U.S. executive order, UK. Okay. Oh, what is this? Oh, okay, okay. Rank one and the U.S. executive officer. Okay, second to the chief executive officer. Okay, so rank one. UK is a managing director. Second to CEO. Investment bank executive officer. Considered the president. India senior management hierarchy. Asia Pacific executive officer. Okay. So number two, ranking a U.S. executive as a U.S. executive officer, deputy president, first executive, senior EVP. Okay. Okay. So this comparison is not strictly correct, as a director is a legal term meaning someone registered with the relevant country's company registrar, or simply named in the legal documents for countries not having company registration as having managerial control of the company and having legal responsibility for its operation, whilst the vice president does not. In either case, the responsibilities may be overall to the company or region, business unit, or function such as sales, marketing, IT, etc. in financial services companies. And financial companies, the vice president is usually a seniority rank that denotes a higher responsibility, though such may not be leadership. The title does not denote a leadership position within the company, but often a role relatively junior to the executive board. Financial services companies have multiple vice presidents, possibly because the title is a form of delayering when an employee cannot be moved higher in the organization but still deserves recognition. Okay. Very interesting. That's okay. I can see that. I can see that. In most cases, the title merely implies that someone is in a medium seniority individual contributor role. Larger financial institutions have thousands of employees with the title of vice president. That's kind of what they. That's actually pretty crazy. I'm not gonna lie. So like in these so like vice president is just like it's like a term to like how do I put this? It's essentially just something that implies that you are to be respected. I'm a vice president. I got rank. I don't know. I mean, it may or may not, depending on the company, can lead to like certain types of benefits and stuff like that. I guess it's largely depending on the culture of the company. If there's like clicks and stuff, yeah. Basically what I'm saying is if you're a vice president, congratulations, you are in the vice president clique, or are you? But I guess depending on this one company or financial institution, or any of these financial institutions that have thousands of vice presidents, then yeah, I mean, guess that means that you have to be in the right vice president clique, as there's many of them, I'm sure. Um, yeah, the organization not that's important, but yeah. So I mean, for the most part, it's just it's just like not really much to it at all. You see, this is relatively short here. Um, yeah, it's like you're just like it's just the person that shows up when the president is too busy to show up. I mean, cool, I guess. But yeah, but in the event that the president is not functioning, then it's gonna be then that's gonna be a problem. I mean, that's when the vice president comes in and takes their place. So I would go as far as to say the president, the vice president needs to be just as qualified as the president. That's just what it is. As far as like function wise, that's completely void of anything like that's like popular or anything like that, or whatever it got, whatever made that president. Um, how do I put this? Whatever made that president. I'm sorry. Whatever reason people voted for that president. Um, how should I put this? Ugh, lose my train of thought. Whatever reason people voted for that president needs to pick a vice president that has chosen. How do I put this? That is they have to choose a person, a vice president that is, I would argue, to be better suited for the job. I would say that'd be better qualified for the job, for the simple reason that they may not have the popularity, but popularity is not important when it comes to running the country. It's just not. What's important is the policies that they are choosing to invoke. What's actually whom do they believe is going to bring in the best possible legislate um, that's going to make the decisions, right, or within the powers of the president of the United States um, to put to ensure the longevity of the country under their tenure. That's kind of what I'm going to go with. Like I said, the vice president is just the acting body, or the in place of, is what they kind of is what I guess what it means in Latin. To the active president. It's pretty much it. I know they have some sort of a they make the decision. They make the deciding votes when when I think I don't know if it's the legislative. I don't know if it's between the Senate or the House. Well, I mean, I just tweaked out. But yeah, I know they are the deciding vote when a bill is kind of like 50-50 and stuff like that. So that's something else they get to do. But otherwise, yeah, they need to be. I would argue that they should be more qualified than the actual president. So I'm gonna make just I'm gonna make the qualifications of an actual president part of the qualifications of the vice president in this slide I'm making. All right. So yeah. Okay. Well, uh, do I want to include a mission statement? Do I want to include a mission statement? Because I don't. This is not. I guess the mission statement is like the same as the president's. I would assume. Yeah, we're gonna go with that. Same as the president's. Role of vice president. Ooh, I messed this up. Ooh, I messed that up. In my last, I was supposed to. That was my bad. Okay. Mm, shit. Damn it. Uh. So yeah, most governments with the vice presidents have one person in a role at the time. Although in some countries, 12 president, vice presidents. If the president is not present, dies, or otherwise unable to fulfill their duties, the vice president will generally serve as president. In many presidential systems, the vice president may not wield as much day-to-day political power. Okay. If anybody that's wondering why I'm not including still are considered important members of the cabinet, yeah, that's not the it's not important here. They're important they're important members of the cabinet for the reasons that their intended use is. In this case, replace the president is so as long as the president is you know dies, is incapacitated, so on and so forth. So so obviously they're important, but not for reasons that is like that we will see of other active members of the government. And I'm pretty sure they're busy, but like they don't seem to have like a intended use, or I'm sorry, uniform intended use, but rather just kind of is like used when necessary. Because they're not gonna making any executive orders. They're not they're not the final say so of any like bills or anything like that. They're kind of just there, um, and like it's just being like the face that shows up in different at the party that's the president was supposed to go to. Like it's just kind of that's kind of what it is. So yeah, sure they're important members of cabinet, but like they're not important as far as like a lot of the legislation making, unless they're required to be the final the final say so of a bill that's again split 50-50 in votes. Okay, where we at there? Okay. Um, it's not for some reason it's not really shown here that they are the like this. So let's go ahead and throw this, so put it somewhere, just I guess to kind of confirm if I'm right about this. Um, let's go with this. President appoints the vice president is also part of the executive branch. Rated as some of the president should need a rise. The vice president, the primary responsibility of the vice president of the United States is to be ready at a moment's notice to assume the presidency if the president is unable to perform his or her duties. This can be because of the president's death, resignation, incapacitation, or the vice president and the majority of the cabinet judge that the president is no longer able to discharge the duties of the presidency. The vice president is elected along with the president by electoral college. Each elector casts one vote for a president and another for the vice president. Before the ratification of the 12th Amendment in 1804, electors only voted for president, and the person who received the second greatest number of votes became vice president. Uh, uh, okay, so so I gotta take that back. What I said earlier. No, the vice president doesn't choose. Okay, they can choose a running mate. That's strange. Oh, let me drink something. So a president can choose a running mate, but they don't choose the vice president. So I guess people just vote for the running mate in a people choose the running mate. No. People choose the vice president in a because of, I would say, affinity to the president. So if every time you see Donald Trump's name during an election, if every time you see Donald Trump's name and you see Vance's name right under it, people are going to be likely just to vote for for Vance just because his name is just so tied to the president. I wonder what would happen. That would be so crazy for to see a president be elected, whether they're Republican or Democrat or otherwise, and then the vice president is somebody whom is not affiliated in a political representation with the president. Like we get like man, I can just imagine one time that we get a Democratic president next time, and whatever and however many years, and then the vice president that we choose is a Green Party member. That would be freaking that would be pretty crazy. Now, albeit the vice president won't be. Oh boy, that boy that would be crazy. Yeah, that would be dangerous. I'm not gonna lie to you. That president shouldn't go outside. I'm just put it that way because like if people voted that if the people was that serious about getting somebody in office, a vice president in office that is not in alignment with the current president, um, yeah, that would low key, yeah, low key. If that acting president don't act right, then yeah, they it might be kind of dangerous for them to go outside because the vice president is probably what a lot of people really wanted. If they went so far as to do something as crazy as vote for a vice president that does not match the political affiliations with that current acting president, that would be pretty nuts in my opinion. But okay, the vice president also serves as the president of the United States Senate. Okay, okay, the vice president also serves. Okay, I can use this. I actually didn't know this part. Serves as the president of the United States Senate, where he or she casts the deciding vote in case of a tie. Okay, so this part I did know. This is what I was looking for. Cast the deciding vote in the case of a tie. So he does that. This person does this in the Senate. Okay. Except in the case of a tie-breaking votes, the vice president really actually presides over the Senate. Okay. Instead, the Senate selects one of their own members, usually junior members of the majority party, to preside over the Senate each day. Let me just quickly look up what the fuck the word preside mean. I never seen that word before. Be in a position of authority in a meeting or group gathering. Okay. Play. Okay. All right, back to this. Wait, I was over here. Okay, Kamala Harris, for not president of the United States, she is the first woman of color to be elected in this position. The duties of vice president are enumerated in the Constitution. Each vice president approaches the role differently. Some take on a specific policy portfolio. Others serve simply as the top advisor of the president. Okay, this is actually pretty important too. Each vice president approaches the role differently. Let me just stamp this over here before I forget. Okay. Um, Succeeded. Okay. In the 48 previous vice presidents, 9 have succeeded to the presidency, and 5 have been elected to the presidency in their own rights. The vice president has an office in the West Wing for the White House, as well as a nearby Eisenhower Executive Office. But hold on. The duties of the vice president outside of those enumerated in the Constitution are the discernment of the current president. Okay, the duties. Okay, so the president can like pretty much use the person for whatever he needs them to be. Okay. Each vice president approaches the role differently. Some take on a specific policy portfolio, others simply take as top advisor of the president. Okay. This is very important stuff right here, y'all. Uh, what we at there? Um, some check on prevent specific policy portfolio. All this stuff is type advisor. Okay. All right. It's pretty good. Um, I did. I think I'm pretty sure I do have a picture of our friend. Educational Foundation. This is JD Vance, right? This is last. Okay. What is this? Okay. Scottish and Irish, huh? It's interesting. Very interesting. Very interesting. A lot of people don't know this, but it's kind of a popular thought that there is like a hierarchy of nationalities under whites under the white race, right? Like earlier we looked at what the census deems as white and different in America, right? And among those, it's popular, right, that people categorize. I'm sorry, put a hierarchy of these races under white. Um, that's kind of what people kind of like to do. I would assume, right, that that hierarchy is primarily based on access to wealth, access to resources. Whoever, like those that have the most, are at the top of the list. I would assume that would be like the order of which things kind of go. So I'm not gonna do like the deep dive on who which nationality has the most money or anything like that in America rather. But I just want to just kind of make note of that. And the reason I even bring that up is because the Irish is just kind of like it's kind of common. It's kind of a common trope that the Irish is like the lower class of whites is what people try to say. Like it's extremely corny. It's I don't know why people would like further divide themselves and cause like this type of weird and spread this type of weird rhetoric. But like I'm just aware of that type of mentality for those types of people, or for for those that think they think that way. Anyway, divorced when he was taller. We read about that. Education. At age 17, uh, cashier. Middle high school. Went to high school. Listened to the Marines. Military journalist. Aircraft. He's still in the Marine. 4 year service. Deployed in Iraq. 6 months. Non-combative role. Writing articles and taking photographs. Okay. He attained the rank of corporal. Okay. GI. He got a GI. He got his GI Bill. Okay. Using the GI Bill, he went to Ohio State University. September 2006 to August 2009. Graduating summa cum laude with a bachelor's of arts with majors in with a bachelor's of arts with majors in political science and philosophy. Okay. Vance then attended Yale, where he formed friendship, a future conservative member of the Canadian Parliament during his first year professor. Persuaded Vance to begin writing his memoir. In 2010-11, Vance wrote for David Frum's firm website under the name J.D. Hamill. He graduated in 2013 with a Juris Doctor degree. Okay, although hillbilly elegy implies that Vance adopted his grandparents' surname. What is this? What does this mean? A Juris Doctor, Doctor of Jurisprudence, or a Doctor of Law. Okay. Oh, okay. It's a graduate-only professional degree that primarily prepares individuals to practice law. In the United States, it is the only qualifying law degree. Other jurisdictions such as Australia, Canada, and Hong Kong offer both the postgraduate JD degrees. Wait, what? Other jurisdictions such as Australia and Hong Kong, whatever, offer both the postgraduate JD degree as well as the undergraduate LLB, BCL, and other qualifying law degrees, depending on the requirements of the jurisdiction where the person will practice law. Originating in the United States in the late 19th century, the JD is the most common law degree in the country. Okay, Jesus. The Juris Doctor diploma. Jeez, bro. Why this? Okay. All right, let me read that again, because this JD thing just threw me all off. Other jurisdictions such as Australia offer both a postgraduate Juris Doctor degree as well as the undergraduate LLB, BCL, or other qualifying law degree, depending on the requirements of the jurisdiction where the person will practice law. Okay. Originating in the United States in the late 19th century, the Juris Doctor is the most common law degree in the country. The degree generally requires 3 years of full-time study to complete, and is conferred upon students who have successfully completed coursework and practical training in legal studies. The Juris Doctor curriculum typically includes fundamental legal subjects such as conservative law, law procedure, criminal law, with opportunities for specialization in areas like international law, corporate law, or public policy. Upon receiving Juris Doctor, graduates must pass a bar examination to be licensed to practice law. Oh, okay. There you go. The American Bar Association does not allow an accredited JD degree, Juris Doctor degree, to be issued in less than 2 years of law school studies. Okay, I don't have to read the rest of this. Has the academic standard of professional doctor? Yeah. Okay, so yeah, he has a doctorate in law, which is pretty good. So that means he passed his bar exam. Let me look that up real quick, just to confirm. Wait a minute, because it does say that upon receiving the Juris Doctor, graduates must pass a bar examination to be licensed to practice law. Okay, so he got his degree, but he has the part. Of the bar. Okay. I never knew that. I knew like lawyers had to pass a bar exam in order to become a lawyer. And otherwise, but I didn't know the degree they had to attain was called the Juris Doctor degree. Or, yeah. So can he be a lawyer? Let's look that up. Oh my goodness! It's getting late. Yes, he did pass the bar exam. Okay. All right. So he's a pretty smart dude. I got to give it to him. Passed the bar exam. Has a doctorate. Yeah. Not bad. Not gonna lie, it's not bad. Where were we at? Graduated from. Okay. Paste. God damn, I keep doing this. Okay, graduating summer cum laude with a bachelor's. Okay, leadership and strategic history. Hmm. Do I want to? Do I want to kill it with this? Okay. Mm-mm-mm-mm. We talking about JD Vance right now. Mm. Oh, this is we're still in education and early life, early career. After graduating from law school, Vance worked for Republican senator. He spent a year as a law clerk for Judge David Branning of the U.S. District Court for the Eastern District of Kentucky. Then worked at the law firm Sidney Austin, beginning a brief career as a corporate lawyer, having practiced law for slightly under 2 years. Vance moved to San Francisco to work in the technology industry as a venture capitalist. Um, Between 2016 and 2017, he served as the principal at Peter Thiel's firm, Metro Capital. Venture capitalists, like, ain't this what people think? Ain't this what people? I don't know. I guess this one of the many things the entrepreneur would say he's that they spend their time in making money in. We'll get to that another time. In 2016, Harper published Vance's book Hillbilly Elegy. The memoir recounts the Appalachian culture of socioeconomic problems of Vance's small town upbringing. Hillbilly Elegy was a New York Times bestseller. The Times listed it among six books, all the six books that helped understand Trump's win. And Vance was profiled in the Washington Post. Interesting. So I guess with this book, kind of talking about like, I guess disinvestment and just being a poor white person, it kind of bridges the gap between, it kind of bridges the gap between like that type of like upbringing into, I guess aligning yourself with Donald Trump. But the thing that people don't really seem to realize is he's not poor. JD Vance is not a poor person. He went to law school, all of that stuff. Went to graduated law school, and he's in the money. So it's like all of that, that attachment, that familiarity that people like. So like, okay, I'm gonna put it this way. Hopefully, this is not the case. What they're saying is like one of the key factors on why and or understanding Trump's win, or AKA understanding why white people or poor white people who voted for Donald Trump. Yeah, we can't necessarily tie that to like JD Vance, that book, because again, like white, there's no connection between white people and Trump outside of like they're just white. And like JD Vance and this book is just not the emissary that that brings people, that funnels people to voting for Donald Trump. Like, Henri, they can see themselves in JD Vance, but there's no shared lived experience like whatsoever. But yeah, an advanced profile in the Washington Post, which called him the voice of the Rust Belt. The New Republic, Sarah Jones criticized Vance as liberal media's favorite white trash planner. That's OD. And the false prophet of Blue America, calling the book little more than a little. Wait, what? Little more than a list of myths about welfare queens. Uh oh. Hillbilly Elegy success helped propel Vance into contact with social elites, and he began writing a column for the New York Times. Vance later said that his interactions with social elites from his time, particularly then perceived disdain for the people he grew up with, helped shape his views later. In 17, Vance joined the investment firm Revolution LLC. It was founded by Steve Case, who founded AOL. Vance was tasked with expanding the Rise and of the Rest initiative, which focuses on growing investments in underserved regions outside Silicon Valley and New York City. Vance was a CNN contributor in 2017 and 2018, and in April 2017, Ron Howard signed on the firm film version of Hillbilly Elegy, which was released in select theaters on November 11th. It was released on Netflix or streaming. Okay, interesting. They said they made a movie out of it or whatever, documentary or whatever. Uh, Service Board of Advisors with Honor Fund and Super PAC. What's Super PAC? United Political Action Committee. Okay, yeah, PAC, yeah. Is a tax exempt 527 organization that pools campaign contributions from members of the that and that pools campaign contributions from members and donates those funds to campaigns for or against candidates. Okay. Donates those funds. Political Action Committee at tax exempt. Oh, I'm sorry, I read that wrong. A tax exempt 527 organization that pulls campaigns contributions from members and donors. Okay, yeah, it's like lobbying. What are you talking about? Or something like that. Like these people they see people receive the money and they send out lobbyists is run around representing other organizations and tries to speak to and expresses those sentiments that they represent to politicians themselves. That helps veterans run for office. From 2020 to 2023, he served on the board of advisors of American Moment, a networking and training organization for young conservatives that is affiliated with Project 25. Uh-oh. There's that attachment to Project 2025 again. Helps veterans run for office in 2020. Okay. 2019, Vance and Chris co-founded the conservative political advocacy group Rockbridge Network. In 2019, Vance founded venture capital firm Narya Capital in Cincinnati with federal backing from Theo, Eric, and Mark Anderson. In 2020, he raised $93 million for the firm with Theo and former Trump advisor Darren Blanton. Vance was invested in Rumble, a Canadian online video platform popular with the political right. Oh me, yeah. Rumble is just the reason the right wing love Rumble so much because it's for the most part largely unregulated. Like you hop on Rumble and you can say whatever the hell you want. Nobody, but I mean, obviously there's restrictions for that. I think they are. Do they get money for that? I don't know. I don't know if I really don't think. I mean, it depends on the advertiser. I do advertise. I don't be on Rumble at all. I don't know if anybody in chat knows. Does Rumble? Are there investors? Are there ads that run on Rumble? Because with ads and it wouldn't with ads, that would mean there are people investing in Rumble or that advertise on Rumble. And I would they probably and yeah the you probably could say that the content creators themselves earn revenue, earn ad revenue. Um, Ohio Renewal, App Harvest. Damn, he's bro. This is a myriad of things that he's involved himself into. Um, Said he plans to move to Ohio and would consider starting a nonprofit and running for office. In Ohio, he started our Ohio Renewal Advocacy Organization to focus on education, addiction, and social ills. He has mentioned in his memoir. Okay. He no, he said he would consider starting a nonprofit or running for office. The Ohio, and in Ohio, he stated our Ohio Renewal Advocacy Organization focused on education. Okay, actually, okay, yeah. In Ohio, he started our Ohio Renewal focused on education, addiction. Okay. Mm-mm, mm-mm. Yeah, I'm gonna have to call it. I'm gonna have to call it quits in a moment. Again, it got really late on me. But I see where I'm doing. I see where I'm getting at with this though. Paste. Okay. Mm-mm-mm, mm-mm-mm-mm-mm. Why don't I? Oh, dude, that's not JD. This is Ron DeSantis. Let's downsize this. Mm, what to do? 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 Uh, mm, 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 mm. What does work? I wonder. Uh, hmm. Oh god damn it! Figure it. Gotta choose a different picture. Um, this work, I guess. He's his list. He got quite a bit of stuff. So I wanna, to give him a lot of room here. Um, so we're gonna just kind of get the stuff. We don't even know everything about Ohio Renewal or any of these other things. App Harvest served on the board of directors of the startup app Harvest, which carried out indoor vertical farming in Kentucky. App Harvest, one of Narya's capital's first publicly announced investments, touting the company's commitment to bring good jobs with health care benefits to an economically depressed area of Appalachia. Vance publicly have advocated for App Harvest in February, telling the media that it was not just a good investment opportunity, it's a great business that's making a big difference in the world. App Harvest went bankrupt in 2023 while owing over $340 million. That's completely crazy. Citing interviews with former App Harvest workers, CNN reported that some of them believe Vance and other members should have recognized and responded to warning signs that company officials were misleading the public with their own investors. Oh God, that's not good. Company founder Jonathan Webb and top executive collectively had little experience with horticulture and indoor agriculture. Ooh, damn. You know what? Didn't know the nuance. Didn't understand nuance. Guys, you can't. Yeah, invest in oh goddamn. That's horrible. Yeah, please, everybody. Okay, let me just put this out there real quick. Please don't invest in the things. Okay, I would implore everybody, all of our aspiring investors, to get very, what's the word? It's gonna take time. I know people, I know time is money. Like I get it, but you got to be very, very careful about investing into things you don't understand intricate details and intricate nuances about. Yeah, because clearly these people just lost a lot of money. 300 old $340 million. Workers complained to authorities about brutal working conditions stemming from high temperatures and company greenhouse, coupled with allegedly heavy pod production demands, lack of safety gear, and a few resting water breaks. After many local workers quit, they were replaced by migrant contract workers, mostly from Mexico and Guatemala, who eventually constituted over half of the company's labor force. Vance never held an operational role in the company. Okay. And his vice president of the campaign said he had been unaware of the complaints about working conditions and that the decision to hire migrants, illegal immigrants rather, was made after he resigned from the board. Okay. What a story. Okay. Uh, okay, yeah, we're gonna call it quits for right now. I'm gonna post this in the feed, but I'm gonna have to note that it failed. But apparently, it wasn't really to his doing. But the problem is he wasn't. He served on the board of directors. So strange. It's like his job was mainly just to get investors involved, but hey, you can't be on the board of directors and not. I mean, yeah, this is the problem with like certain type of capitalists. You can't don't involve yourself in a business if you don't if you have no if you feel like you don't have the time to um make sure everything is running like so to make sure everything is weren't running well. Like you have to make sure that business is self sustainable. And if you don't even know like what the hell's going on within these businesses, then it's just guess what's gonna happen next. Like confidence is not good enough. It's so strange that he doesn't know that. He didn't know that at that time. 2021, dude. This is a few years ago. Oh god. This is just a few years ago. I don't know. Yeah, so let's post this. Let's just paste this in here. Oh, what the hell? Uh, oh, what happened? Oh, what? Oh, I jacked. That was on me. Here it is. Wait, what? Copy. Paste without phone. Okay, so I need to know. Hmm. Yeah, I'm gonna just say it failed, dude. Bum, bum, bum. 'Cause, like even though he claims that even though he claims that he had little involvement with the company and that it kind of failed on its own by its own doing, like it's his job to like make sure things are running fine. Like so we're gonna have to like make note that him serving, like we gotta mark it as a strike. It just is what it is. Like and just let everybody make the decision for themselves if they want to hold this against them. Mm, so let's go back to what was that thing called? Yeah, Ohio renewal. Let me see. So I need to actually see if this actually failed. Um, okay, according to 2017, he put his memoir, so he might be proud of this one. Achieved capture for nonprofit organizations. Okay, according to the 2020 capture of the website, those four remain in those positions throughout the organization's existence. Our Ohio renewal closed by 2021 with sparse achievements. Okay, according to Giovanni, the organization's director of law and policy, its work was derailed by Giovanni's cancer diagnosis. It raised around 200,000, over $200,000 in 2017, including $80,000 from Vance himself. Okay, and spent the majority of its revenue on overhead costs and travel. In subsequent years, it raised less than $50,000 during Vance's 2022 campaign for U.S. Senate. Tim Ryan, the Democratic nominee, said the charity was a front for Vance's political ambitions. Okay. Ryan pointed to reports that the organization paid a Vance political advisor and conducted public opinion polling. While its efforts to address addiction failed, Vance denied the characterization. Our Ohio renewal tax filing showed that in the fiscal year it spent more over $63,000 on management services provided by its executive director Jai, who also served as Vance's top political advisor, than it did in programs to fight opioid abuse. Oh wow! It and hold on a second. Management service provided by its executive office, the executive director, who served as a Vance top political advisor than it did on programs to fight opioid abuse. Hmm. Spend more spend more money on management services. Oh, that don't sound good. Management services. So yeah, just like a bunch. Oh, that's crazy. That's not good at all. It spent more money on management services than it did on to like yeah, management services sounds kind of crazy. I'm not gonna lie, because it sounds like they allocated over $63,000 to make the management and all these people feel comfortable. I mean, that can be freaking anything. That can range from anything um to like I don't know Medicures, panicures to I mean booze and other like degenerative services. Okay. All right, guys. in 2017, and then they spent it spent more money on it than it did on programs to fight opioid abuse. And now, mind you, to be fair, I don't know. I don't know how much money is required to fight opioid abuse. Like I don't know, but like we also have to remember that it was like it's taken on a number of like tasks all at once. But the fact that they spent um, the most money on management services kind of ridiculous. Who also served as Vance's top political man. Okay. Uh, in 2017, Vance formed a similarly named organization, our Ohio Renewal Foundation, which raised about $69,000 from 2017 to 2023. Okay. As of September 2024, the foundation had not spent any funds since 2019. Okay. According to Associated Press, the ProPublica, the charity's biggest accomplishment, sending psychiatrist Sally Satel to Ohio's Appalachian region for a year-long residency in 2018, was tainted by the ties amongst Satel, her employer, American Enterprise Institute, and Purdue Pharma, in the form of knowledge exchange between Satel and Purdue and financial support from Purdue to American Enterprise Institute, as founded by a ProPublica 2019 investment in an email to Associated Press. Satel denied having any relationship with Purdue or any knowledge of Purdue's donations to American Enterprise Institute. Okay. So yeah, yeah, I mean, it was badly ran. Like the people was allocating money for management services when it's supposed to have been allocating the majority of those funds to actually, fulfilling the mission statement itself. Pretty strange. Um, so it's still running, but like I'm gonna have to say badly ran, bro. It just is. Uh, oh, well that ain't right. Mm, 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 mm. Okay. Education edition and other social use. I thought I posted this already. Okay, I'm tweaking. Um, what should I post here? Social renewal. Um, what was that at? Our Ren- our Ohio Renewal Foundation. Okay, very interesting. Okay, okay, okay. What am I doing? Yeah, ran poorly, dude. Okay, so yeah, we're gonna call it quits for right now. Gotta get some sleep. But we're gonna be continuing with JD Vance's my PowerPoint with JD Vance. We were doing it was a whole lot of sidetracking it this morning for sure. Um, but I there was a lot of stuff I kind of wanted to kind of like read up on, and yeah, I was it's really interesting, like brushing up on this stuff, and learning new things. Um, so I don't at all regret my time, studying this, studying the things that was kind of surrounding JD Vance and stuff like that, without like digging into what he was doing directly. But we're gonna continue this tomorrow though, or later today. Let me see what else we got here. If I need to finish this up. Oops. Uh, and notable qualities of a good housing and urban development secretary. Oh yeah, that's it. Hmm. Okay, so yeah, tomorrow we're gonna finish up his his leadership and strategic history. We're gonna fill out here this here notable qualities of a standard vice president, and we're gonna ask if JD Vance meets the standards of the vice president, and then we're gonna compare his education versus the suggested education, and that's gonna most likely be it's most likely gonna wrap it up. So otherwise, yeah, I appreciate you all for sliding in on me. It's been again, it's been a lot of fun. I'm gonna go ahead and turn in, and we're gonna wrap up JD. Oh yeah, I forgot. We're gonna do JD Vance later today again, and then we're gonna. I'm thinking of going into these deputy chief of staffs, and I guess I gotta check out the board of CSR, even though this isn't like this. I don't think this has any history in politics at all. Like let's I guess we can shake. Wait, what? Okay, yeah, okay, yeah. Is employed and okay. I forgot what I said earlier. The CSR just simply means um somebody that is appointed to. That's all. And this is somebody that's appointed to the border enforcement. Um, so that's all that really means. So it's not. I guess they can make it a. So we'll go with that. But otherwise, yeah. So we're gonna go ahead and end it here. It's been a lot of fun, everybody. Okay, I'll catch you on the flip side.